You are watching or listening to Purham and Associates. For more information, go to rpurham.com or follow me on all social media platforms and subscribe at RPURHAM. Thanks. See you over there. Hey, good day to you all. Welcome to Permanent Associates. I'm your host, and I hope you all had a fantastic week so far. And I missed you last week, I think. I think I was on last week. Wait, no, I did. I was. Yeah. I told you. Yeah. Schedule, man. It's just
It was a holiday.
schedule and everything else just been out of whack. But hey, nonetheless, we got a very special guest with us today, and I think y'all should buckle in, pay attention, because you're going to learn a lot. And I'm excited to have none other than Jacqueline Primrose. She is a dedicated and experienced health and wealth professional, educator, and advocate. As the founder of JPE Wellness Advocates, Jacqueline leverages her extensive background in various industries to empower individuals, particularly women, to reach their full health, wealth, and wellness potential. Through the faith and perseverance, Jacqueline has overcome many challenges that plague many female residents from inner city neighborhoods such as lack of resources, teen pregnancies, sexual abuse, crime, and lack of safe and adequate housing, to go on to achieve over 20 years of work experience in information technology, 10 years in pharmaceuticals, 15 years in health and wellness, and 5 years in finance. Jacqueline brings a wealth of knowledge and expertise to her clients. She holds a bachelor's degree in information technology, a certification in former Certified Information Systems Auditor, CISA certification, Certified Institute for Integrative Nutrition Coach, and licensed in 5 states as a life and health insurance agent, and is a certified Texas contract manager. In her personal time, Jacqueline enjoys time with her family, writing, cooking, reading, watching movies, traveling, and gardening. She has been in a personal relationship with Jesus Christ since 1972 and loves sharing her faith with others. Ladies and gentlemen, introducing some and presenting to others, Miss Jacqueline Primrose. Welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you for having me this morning, Randall. It's such an honor to be here and to share this, allow me to get this message out to as many people as I can. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I want to ask you about the gardening piece. What do you like to garden?
You said why?
No, what do you like to garden? What kind of garden?
What do I like to garden?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when I wrote that, I was very, very enthusiastic about gardening. But after I got started with gardening, my enthusiasm waned a little bit because I was able to get the first sprouts to come up. But that Texas heat, I wasn't ready for it. So I don't think I planted the right things. But the good thing I do like about it is I like planting the seeds and seeing them germinate and seeing something come up. It's exciting to see the fruits of your labor, so I can imagine that most gardeners, they have that similar feeling that, it's something that you get some gratification to see that all your work is not in vain.
No, absolutely. I tried gardening off my balcony. I tried gardening off my balcony last spring, and I was trying to do carrots, peas, and it was carrots, peas, and tomatoes. And between the birds and somehow the squirrels managed to get up there and as soon as the little budding happened, they were gone. I was just like, man, you know what? Screw this. So
Yeah, that was
I gave
another
up
thing.
on
We have rabbits back here, so they were having a field day too. So
yeah.
yeah, but I'm going to give it another try. I haven't given up.
Yeah, me too. Me too. When I get a little bit more time on my hands, when I I'm looking at fully retiring in a few years, so that may be something I take up. That way, I can have a self-sustaining food source because I like to eat.
That's a
But
good thing.
yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Jacqueline, tell us about JPE Wellness and what is your company about and everything.
Okay, so JPE Wellness has been rebranded as JPE Health and Wealth Advocates. And the way I started that is, I had my own health challenges and I could not figure out how to get past it. So I did some research on different things like probiotics and,
Hmm.
you know, gut health and that sort of thing. And I just changed a few things in my diet. I started doing kombucha, then I started doing the probiotics and the prebiotics. And whatever issues I had, which was something my doctor couldn't tell me what was going on, something I couldn't figure out, it started to reverse. I saw the symptoms reverse. So I said, wow, it must be really something to this all natural stuff. So I took a course in integrated nutrition, and they taught me all about health and wellness and taking care of yourself in a bio individual way,
Hmm.
understanding what your body is like. And when you have these symptoms, don't just think that it's a one size fit all symptom. You really just have to start, looking inside. What did you eat? Where did you go? Doing, research
Right.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I decided to use that as a platform for reaching out to other people who may not feel, confident in taking their own health into their own hands. They're more comfortable in going to the white lab coat and letting them determine what's wrong with them. And a lot of times I don't have anything against the medical professions, but I have told them about natural remedies before, and I've gotten a negative pushback on that.
Of course.
Now, there's one thing to say, well, that's great for you, but just to discount it altogether, that didn't sit well with me.
Yeah.
So I started that. And then I realized that a lot of people, I started doing the coaching. And a lot of people, when I did the survey for the coaching, one of the things that popped out on the survey is a very low grade when it came to finances. And then when I saw that, the other correlation was lack of sleep, high stress levels, those types of things.
Hmm.
So it said ding, 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 I need to tie this together. And that's when I decided to rebrand as JPE Health and Wealth.
Awesome. Awesome. Jackie, you got a slideshow for us today.
I do.
Yeah, yes. Let's get into this because it is some great information, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said, buckle up, sit back, pay attention because this is a plethora of information, a wealth of knowledge that's going to be right at your fingertips here. So we're gonna, without further ado, we'll go ahead and get started here. Let me get it over here to the screen and ready when you are.
All right. Well, first of all, again, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to walk through these steps because these are the basic steps of your financial house. And this is what I really use to help people to have a minimalist look at their finances without being so overwhelmed with all the different, terminology and all the different slang and lingo of the finance world, which can really, scare people off. But this
Hmm.
6 step financial independence framework helps people to start with, where do I start? They really don't know. So basically the best place to start is with you. So when we talk about starting with you, we just want to understand that you need proper protection. So that's where we'll end up, and that's that third step, and that's where we actually start talking about actionable things that you can do. But one thing we do look at is that first step. Where are you now? What money do you have? How much savings do you have? Where has your wealth have you ever had wealth transferred to you? Has anybody ever left money to you? How much money do you have sitting that you don't have access to? That's building. such as a pension. Do you work for someone that has a pension building for you, or 401k that's building for you? So we look at all those things, and we do it in a systematic way with a financial needs analysis. We'll sit down with them and go over those things. And I just, I'm just the investigator and the observer. I'm taking notes. But at the same time, it's ringing bells to the client as to, oh, wow, that's right. I do have this. I do have that. So when they look at that picture, they realize they're not as bad off as they think. So that's the first step. So the next step is, why am I having all these problems with not being able to pay my bills? If this is the case, not every client is that way. Some people are very apt at paying their bills. Some have no bills, but there may be other types of financial issues that they want to overcome. But I'm using this as an example. For example, I'm behind on all my bills. I can't get caught up. I'm 1 month behind on my mortgage. I can't seem to stay away from the internet, and I have impulse buying. So let's say that's the client. So we want to look at their income. What do you have coming in? We already established that. You got some savings. You got some stuff that's sitting out there that you're not using. But what money are you bringing in on a regular basis? Who's getting access to that money when it comes in? Because cash flow comes in, it doesn't just come in, it also goes out. So when that money is coming in, are you in control or is someone else in control? How do you determine that? So then we sit down with them, we look at their checking statements, and we say, well, where are all these expenses? So a lot of times they find out they have subscriptions they forgot about, or they have charitable contributions that they wanted to reassess, or maybe someone has already put a lien on them, and they don't even realize that somebody's taking money out that they didn't authorize. So we look at all those kinds of things. And then that third step is where we talk about proper protection. And that is really where we get the ball running. So first of all, what if you had all the money you need in the world and something happened to you the next day and your family doesn't know about all these things that you have, the things we discovered in step one? What do you think your family's life would look like at that point? And then they tell me the picture that they imagine. Sometimes they don't have a will. They have all this money, but I don't have a will. I don't have a trust. I don't have any of those things. So I assume my family will start going through my house trying to find the will, or they're going to be flipping mattresses looking for money and that sort of thing. And we have heard the horror stories of people who have passed and didn't leave a will or a trust for their family, and how that can be a nightmare, because if you don't have your afterlife plan in place, the government has an afterlife plan for you, and you just might not like that plan, and it can take a really long time for your family to get access to what you really had in mind, because your family can't read your mind. You have to really start making those plans ahead of time. So proper protection doesn't just include life insurance, but it also includes estate planning, like a will, a trust, also medical directives. Who's going to be your power of attorney? Who are your beneficiaries? So we sit down and we talk about all those types of things. And then in step 4, when we're talking about balancing health and wealth, one thing that they have to realize is that, okay, now you got all those other things in line and you know where your money is, your family knows where your money is. Now, what if you live and you don't pass and you get to the age of 70 and you still have, do you have enough money to take you 20 years into your retirement? So we start talking about that. Also, what if you live, but you have a chronic illness? Who's going to take care of you when you have that chronic illness? Is it going to be your child? Is it going to be your parents? If they're still, hopefully at 70, your parents have gone on to glory. But who is that person? Have you named them? Have you had a conversation with them? Sometimes we pass or people become sick and we haven't had these discussions. And when you have caregiving in the family, it can really divide the family as to, who's going to take care of mom or dad or sister or brother if something should happen. So it's important that we talk about that, and that's what we do in step 4. And then understanding asset accumulation strategies. So now we've got those basic things, and you kind of understand now what money can do for you, how to protect your money, where money you have, and that sort of thing. But are you really planning for your future self? And this is really good for a younger person who's right out of college, or who's young enough to have a checking account, but not really having determined what their final destination career is, but they have income. What do you do with that money? And also, young people leave one job and go to another job, and they forget sometimes that they had a 401k sitting at the old job. And once you leave that job, they don't have any type of onus to try to make that money grow for you. So you need to know what are your options when you leave a job and you leave money there. And you have to understand when you talk about assets, we're talking about things, not just money, but you might have crypto, you might have gold, you might have all these things, but you definitely want to make sure that they are doing the best they can for you. So we talk about tax strategies even. Do you have these monies in buckets that are tax advantage? That's really important. And then that last step is you're living a dream. You're fulfilling your long-term goals. You've gotten all that step 1 through 5 taken care of, and you want to make sure that you can travel, that you can write that memoir you've already been working on. And you don't have to worry about going out and doing a gig job because you've got all the money you need to support yourself, your goals, your aspirations, and to support your family if something should happen to you. So, and that also includes taking care of any illness that might come up in the long run. So, Alzheimer's, for instance, if that should happen, that's a long-term illness. So you want to make sure you have some type of protection for that, and we have answers for that as we go along. Thank you. Next slide. All right, so you really want to understand how money works, but you also want to understand why money isn't working for you. And what are the problems that we have for money? These are some of the top problems that Americans face. Some of us have no budget, and that means that we're not even looking at what we're doing month to month. We're just like, if I have enough at the end of the month, that's great. If I don't, that's great. And that's no way to live. You got to have some kind of control over the inflow and the outflow of your money. So many of us don't have a budget. That's a problem. Some of us have poor spending habits. That's another problem. That means that, you're spending money on things that aren't benefiting you. It's benefiting someone else, like, name brands. That's not benefiting you, really. It's benefiting someone else. The latest gadgets out there. It's a phone that can do just the same thing for half or even more than half the price. Or you may be compelled to have a party for someone you don't even like. And then you might be giving a party to someone who's not even going to remember a 1-year-old birthday party, and you're spending thousands of dollars for that. And so this is poor spending habits, and a lot of people fall into that gap. And then not having an emergency fund is another reason why we have problems. We have money problems because we don't plan, again, for something negative to happen. We always have the glass half full mentality when it comes to the future. And that's great to be, optimistic, but you don't want to have a false sense of security because anybody can have an emergency. So what if all 4 of your tires go out at one time? It's not likely, but it is a risk that could happen. Are you able to afford those 4 tires if you have to purchase them all at once? So those are emergencies that, could happen. Even snowmageddon that happened like 10 years ago. What if that should happen again? Because right now we're in the winter season, and I was just hoping that we weren't going to have another one this year. But so far we've dodged a bullet. But what if that should happen again? I remember that a lot of people didn't have water, they didn't have bread, they didn't have, and nobody had electricity at that time. So did you have a generator? So those are emergencies that you can prepare for. And sometimes I hear people say that bad things happen in threes. So we always say in preparing for emergency, prepare for at least 3 emergencies, not just one, because you never know. Sometimes they go back to back. And then living for the weekend. Again, we were talking about partying. How many of us every weekend we're at the club? I mean, I'm too old, but I'm talking to the younger generation. The money you spend on drinks, on parking, on other people's drinks, and then on recuperating the next day because you cannot get out of bed. And if you have to go to work, that's a day's loss. So, living for the weekend is very expensive. And, going to games, even football games, you got to have, the pay to get into the game. You got to pay for the family to have their little cozy warmers. And I'm not trying to put a damper on anybody's life, but you know what? Some of these things you can substitute them for more quality time with your family or things that are less expensive. I even know that some people are addicted to gambling now. That's becoming a prevalent problem in the Black community and many communities. That gambling is so easily and readily available that you can succumb to it. So you just have to really monitor it. And if you feel as though you don't have a handle on it, then find someone to mentor you. That's what I'm here for. I can mentor you. I can hold your hand. I can call you. I can give you that reminder, that encouragement in the morning to start monitoring the bottom line when it comes to your finances. And then increasing debt. That is an epidemic, and that is an epidemic in this country. Debt is a way of American life. And it's sad that it has come to that because even at the top, we see that our debt is spiraling out of control, trillions of dollars in debt. And then in the American household, we feel like that's just the normal way of being American. And that's not true. You do not have to have debt in order to have a quality lifestyle. Also, watching a lot of reality shows. Too many reality shows make you feel as though you're missing out on something. And believe me, it's all fake. So don't believe the hype. Get into your own zone and stay in your own lane. You know where your money is. Don't try to make your money buy things. Don't buy things that you can't afford to pay for. And so that's what we're talking about, just, being in control. So next, thank you for letting me share that. So this is the financial house. These are the steps that you need to have, and we just discussed them all. And savings we talked about proper protection, and that is, life insurance. You need to have 10 times that amount of income to have your family be properly protected in case of your passing and you're not here. So why is that? Why 10 years? Well, if you're a husband or a parent, your children are dependent on you, and they have been dependent on you for many years, and they may not have really planned to not be able to have that money supporting them. So you want to give them a soft landing. It's enough that they're going to be grieving because you're not here, but you don't want them to be grieving and stressed over paying debts that you weren't able to take care of before you left. So the 10 times your income gives them the chance to pay off some things, even if it's the mortgage or if it's a car or if it's college planning for some child that you had planned to send to college, all of those types of things. And you might even have someone who is actually you're taking care of. You may be your godchildren you had sponsored, and they need to go to college. So if that's the case, then that's enough money to cover them too. So savings, 20% of your income should go towards savings, at least at a minimum, because you want to pay yourself first. Don't want everybody else to get their cut, like Uncle Sam and Ma Bell and T-Mobile. All of those guys, you don't want them to get the first cut of your pay. You want to get the first cut. So put money aside and pay yourself first. Don't put it in a checking account. Put it in some kind of interest-bearing place and have access to the majority of it in case of an emergency. And then debt management, of course, you want your debt to be zero, because why do you have to have debt in the first place? Most things you can purchase outright with cash. If you can't, then you can probably work a way that you can get an interest-free loan of some sort so that you don't have to go too far into debt. And then emergency funds, we talked about that. And why 6 times of an emergency, of income for an emergency? We talked about emergency sometimes comes in threes, and you want to have enough money set aside for at least 3 emergencies, but 6 makes you very, very secure. And then investments, 20 times your income in investments. Hopefully, we will get to talk about this in more detail when we have our workshops next week. Next week is increasing cash flow and debt management. So we're going to talk about some of this in more detail. So make sure that you follow us and make sure you have joined us next Tuesday at 6 o'clock, and we'll go into some more detail. But 20 times your income is because you're investing now, not for today, not for the weekend, but you're investing for your future, for when you retire, so that you can have money set aside for you to live for 20 years without having to be dependent on your family, your children, the government, that sort of thing. Of course, you might have a pension, you might have Social Security, you might have some 401k money left over, but you still want to put money aside that is growing at a rapid rate or a pretty good clip so that you can support yourself comfortably for 20 years into retirement. Okay, and that's next slide. So manage growth. These are the things that really help you to grow wealth. And it's a 5-step process. First of all, you have to understand, how does money compound? Well, the interest rates you get, there's a wealth formula that Einstein determined will help you to determine how long it takes for your money to double. It's called the rule of 72. So if you divide any interest rate that you get into 72, it'll tell you how long it will take for your money to double. In this case, we have 3 interest rates. We have a 6%, a 10%, a 6%, an 8%, and a 10% interest rate. Excuse me. So 6% going into 72, that's 12 years to double. 8% going into 72, that's 9 years to double. And 10% going into 72 is 7 years to double. Now, if you're in a checking account right now, it's probably paying you near 1% for your money to sit there. That's going to take you 72 years for your money to double. So this is a good benchmark for you to determine what interest rates you need for the goals that you're trying to reach. And then the wealth formula is simply, how do you build wealth? Money times time plus a good rate of return minus inflation and minus taxes will leave what is called wealth. So you have to make sure you have enough money, enough time, and a good enough rate of return to account for any taxes that you owe and the inflation that's being applied to your money. And then what's left over is wealth. And then that will give you your real rate of return. Because if you're saving $100 at 3% and you have taxes coming out at 25%, another $3. So that's your actual rate of return is more like $93, $90, $99. So you're losing money. So you really have to be aware of what rate of return you're getting on your money. And then the power of compound interest. So annual growth of 10% per year at 4%. This is telling you over a course of 30 years where you could be. And I'm going to see if I can blow this up a little bit. So in year 1, with that type of growth, you could earn $10,400. And in year 2, you started with $400, but they're compounding monthly and annually. In year 2, you'll earn another $10,800. In year 3, you'll earn $11,200. In year 30, it would be that should be $22,000 all told that you earn in 30 years. So this is showing the growth as you go along, and then the accumulated growth after 30 years. And that's how compound interest works. Now, the managed growth is you want to put all of these into one neat solution. So you want something that's going to give you growth, safety, protection, and tax advantage. And when we're talking about safety, that means that you want to hedge any losses that you might have from the stock market. If you're putting your money in the market, you have losses and you have gains. And over a course of 20 years, you're going to have a gain. But as you go along, depending on your tolerance for loss or your risk tolerance, you may not want to see all those losses. So you may want to compromise on the amount of gain, but not compromise on losses. And we have solutions that can give you no loss, but a good amount of gain to earn a decent amount after 30 years. Next slide. So where do most people save money? And this is just saying that, the majority of people put their money in a checking or savings account. Most of us have a checking or savings account at least. But some of us venture out and we start putting our money into a 401k. 40% of us do that. So that's a tax later bracket. And then 15% more of us will put it into an IRA, which is a similar to an 401k, except that it doesn't have the same tax treatment. And then life insurance is even less people are understanding life insurance and what it can do for you to build generational wealth. So only 10% of our people are putting their money into life insurance. And then another 10% are, venturing out to municipal bonds. And bonds seems like, a governmental thing that over the years has been pretty safe, and it gives a, pretty good reasonable return that you don't have to worry about. But it is debt, people. We're borrowing against debt. So bonds, I believe that we can make money with bonds, but there are other ways to do that and not have to rely on a debt vehicle. Okay, next slide. So you want to get control over your spending, and this is why we're having these these financial literacy workshops. And these are the benefits of attending these workshops over the next 6 weeks. You're going to learn to control your spending and how to track your expenses and avoid impulse buying and stop living paycheck to paycheck. And then you're going to learn to build emergency fund and be prepared in case of an emergency, so that if something should happen, you don't have to go into your living expenses or into your investments to cover an emergency. And then you're going to have confidence in investing and planning for retirement, because you're going to understand how you can make compound interest work for you over the course of time, and how to have a diversified platform or a diversified portfolio of solutions that you don't have to worry about losing too much money in you don't have to have, a high tolerance for risk. And then you're going to learn to improve your financial mindset and have a habit of savings. So you'll shift from impulse spending, from not being accountable for your expenses, to wanting to know where every dime is going, and to know that, once I get my spending set down, I'm set. I'm going to follow that. And once I know where my money is going, I'm set it in, I lock it in, and I know that it's over time going to take care of my future self. So the next slide. And that's it. And that takes us back to the beginning. So that's what I wanted to share with you. And I pray and hope that something was said that will, inspire you to try to, connect with us, attend those workshops, and start putting your financial house in order. Thank you so much, Randall.
Absolutely, you're very welcome, Jackie, and thank you, because this was a plethora of information, and you, for someone in my age, mid-40s, you kind of know these things and you ignore them over time. You come across a large pot of money and you're just like, you know what? The world is my oyster today, and I'm finna just go ham out there and just spend. And then you look back and you say, you know what? Damn, I wish I would have invested in this, or I wish I would have put some money away for a rainy day. You don't think about those things. And then on the flip side, you get so used to living paycheck to paycheck. You get so used to living on I guess you would say a spender's budget. You get your paycheck and you just say, you know what? I'm paying these bills. Here's my little leftover. I'm not thinking about saving anything right now because I want to go have fun. I worked all month, and it is what it is. You have that class of people, but this right here, you kind of help shift the mindset in both buckets. The person that says, you know what? Instead of me going out to party, I am getting too old to party now, just like you just mentioned. I drive. Being here in Austin, you drive down 6th Street and the lights and the people and everything, it draws you in. You're like, man, I want to go hang out with these guys. And I'm like, nah. Let me hit this left and going back to the house, because I'm good, And so, but that you save money. I actually think about it like, I just saved myself about $150, from hanging out. So, and that goes to something else. So it is a great way, ladies and gentlemen. No matter how old you are, getting this kind of information as a refresher, even it kind of puts you back into that, slaps you back into reality. Like, you know what, she's right. I need to start doing this again. Or, you know what, I need to check my subscriptions, because like me, I have a lot of subscriptions that I pay for at the beginning of the year type of thing. So this month in January, I'm getting all these notifications. Thank you for your payment. I'm like, I didn't pay anything.
Yes, you
it's, set
forgot
up,
about
it's set up on auto pay on an annual
yes,
thing. So
renewals.
yes, and so just in January alone, it was things that I had forgotten about that I had, and you don't pay attention to, like, it's the little check box at the bottom that says this is going to be automatically renewed type of thing. So I lost like $300 in January just on subscriptions alone, and I'm just like, I don't even use this crap. So now I'm like frantically like trying to contact people. Hey, cancel the subscription, refund my money. I don't want this, type of thing. And
Yes, yeah.
luckily, I was able to do that. And but
Hmm.
these are things that we tend to forget about. So, ladies and gentlemen, make sure you pay attention to your subscriptions, especially your TV subscriptions like Netflix. Um, if you're doing like Hulu and all HBO Max and all that kind of stuff, pay attention to that stuff and check into your like phone company. Like, say for example, Verizon, they have bundle packages where you actually save half of the cost
Oh,
just by
yes.
bundling, those services that you're already utilizing. So it's just a little tricks of the trades that we don't think about. Although we like to spend money, there's smarter ways to spend the money. so
Yes, there
so
are.
Jackie, you mentioned about the workshops coming up, and ladies and gentlemen, for those that are in Texas, in Austin, Texas, particularly, or the surrounding areas, you could come in, drive in. The weather's getting back better again, so talk to us about the financial literacy workshop.
Okay, so I'm partnering with the National Black MBAs Association Austin chapters, their Leaders of Tomorrow program. And we are hosting, they're hosting us, World System Builder, and my company, JP Health and Wealth, to present these workshops. And they're going to cover everything that I said today, and they're going to go into it a lot more detail. So, for instance, like next Tuesday, we're going to be talking about increasing cash flow and debt management, which is one I think everyone needs to really try to attend, because that's the basics. You got to have money coming in, and you got to stop the leak going out, and that's what we're going to talk
Hmm.
about next Tuesday. But we have 6 workshops in addition to that. And if you are watching and you contact us or send a comment, I can send you the link to the schedule. You can't really see it here, but it's every Tuesday at 6 p.m. There will be a virtual option, but we also have an in-person option in Austin, which is at the NBMBA's headquarters. So we're going to post all that information and make sure you get that.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, the Black MBA Leaders of Tomorrow program is a phenomenal program, and people. I want to dispel a rumor real quick. People think when they hear the word Black MBA, that's only just for Black people. No, it's not. This is open to everybody. I'm a member of this organization. We have the spectrum. Let me put it like that. That come out to our events and everything else. The Black MBA is a national organization that's been around. I want to say 70 years, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's just a name. It's not exclusive to any one group or anything like that. So feel free to come on now, hang out, and learn more, get more in depth into the financial literacy world. Now, Jackie, I want to ask you, with the impending tax season upon us, I I was just gathering up my wife's and I's W-2s the other day, sitting on top of the printer there. I was looking at it, I was like, jeez, I'm about to.
It's coming.
I think I'm a O again. But but I want to get your thoughts on real quick before I let you go. I want to get your thoughts on what the Trump administration is saying, that people that's paying taxes this year, you're going to see a huge refund. Everything that you paid to the taxes, you're gonna probably get it right back in some type of thing, right? What would be your advice to that young couple, that old couple, that that's getting, or that couple that's getting, or person, an individual that's getting a refund back, and it's a say a significant amount more than usual that they get back, type of thing. What would you say they should do with that money?
Well, I don't want to overstep because everybody's situation is different,
Ah, no,
and I
overstep. They'll be
can't
all right.
really.
Overstep them. Be all right. You're the guru. You tell them what they need to do with their money. Go ahead.
So, first of all, I would tackle debt. If you have any debts that you haven't paid, this is a good time. Not a good time to go shopping, not a good time to take a cruise or anything like that. It's tackle your debt. Pay as much as you can to get out of debt.
Yeah.
And then whatever is left out of that, try to set up a savings and plan that is set it and forget it. In other words, figure out what 10% or 20% of your income is and set that aside and say, this is the first seed of many seeds that I'm going to be setting aside every month
Yeah.
to pay myself first. So your Uncle Sam has already given you the first payment, and now that makes the job easier for you because all you have to do now is be disciplined to set that amount aside the next month. And when I say set it and forget it, you have to put it in a way that it's going to be automatically taken out of your account, automatically put into buckets that are going to be earning you cash and earnings over a period of time, and something that you cannot easily take out so that it will rock the boat. So that's what I would advise you to do. And if you need to learn more about what that device is or what that mechanism is, I can explain it to you. So just reach out to me and I can give you more information on that.
Yes, absolutely. Hey, Jackie, that's actually great advice. To tackle the debt first. And then set, because you're setting up a primer system for yourself to say, what, okay, I got this extra money that I wasn't anticipating. I'm gonna go ahead and put this away. Pay down some debt, or separate if you don't have that much debt, or if it's even manageable debt. Is this your month to month, expenses? To go ahead and set up a savings account. That's absolutely right about that. And a lot of folks probably are not thinking along those lines. So yes, that's why I'm encouraging you to control them today. to reel them in.
Gladly.
Yes, Jackie, thank you so much for being here today. Where can people
Thank you.
follow you, support you, and find out more information?
Okay, so I am on Facebook and I have a Facebook site. You can follow me there. And that is, let me just look real quick so I can't remember all of my taglines. But it is JPE Advocates on Facebook. And then I have a YouTube channel, which is Jackie Primrose 7608. And then I also have a TikTok channel, which is Jackie Primrose 192. So those are places where you can connect with me. But definitely connect with me next Tuesday at this workshop because you may have questions already that you might want to ask. And if that's the case, you can ask them at that time because we do open it up for questions and answers.
Awesome. Great deal. Good deal. Jackie, thank you so much once again. Truly appreciate you. Be safe out there. Have fun. Thank you for what you're doing. Not only to our community, but to the world. This extends. This is actually extends beyond the United States or beyond Texas. People around the world have money, issues or money things going on in their life. So this
That's
is
so true.
beneficial to everyone around the world, and I truly appreciate your time and your wisdom in this endeavor. And hopefully, if I'm gonna put it on my calendar, I think I'll be able to make it out to that. So you see me next week.
All right. I would look forward to seeing you.
Absolutely, yeah. Be safe.
Thank
out
you
there.
again. I really am glad to be here.
Very welcome. Very welcome. Take it easy, and God bless you.
God bless you as well.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Hey, bye. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Primrose. Hey, once again, go check out our website, jpewellness.com. JPE for the listeners out there today and not the watchers. I hope you were able to comprehend what was going on without the visuals, since you're probably driving or or doing whatever, or you just go back and watch the replay later on when it's posted. But jpewellness.com. That's jpewellness.com for those that just may be hard of hearing or slow. Anyways, but folks, yeah, we're gonna have fun getting back into this into the financial series. Tiffany and I, we're bringing on some more guests and everything else, and we're gonna nail this down. We're gonna make y'all rich, folks. Y'all gonna thank us. I hope y'all share your wealth with us. All I ask is 5%. 5% is. I don't think that's too much for y'all to give up. But anyways, folks, let me jump up out of here. I got another show to get to. But folks, be safe out there. God bless. Oh, by the way, hey, don't forget. Get your copy. It's ready for pre-order. Polarizing America, the Economist Society. Go ahead and get that through any of the outlets where you get your books. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, all that good stuff. All those book places out there. They're out there. Just type it in, Polarizing America, or my name, Randy Purham, and get that going. And or you can just go to GiveSendGo.com and Book Project 2025, and you can get the links there and drop some change there if you want to just support. You don't like to read, but you want to support the cause, you can do that too. So, hey, folks, seriously, I'm out of here. I will holler at y'all later. Be safe. God bless you all, and ciao, ciao. I hope you enjoyed today's program. You can follow, like, share, subscribe on Spotify, Substack, Rumble, YouTube, Facebook, and your news. And also, you can download Let the Truth Be Told app on your favorite streaming platforms, such as Fire Stick, Apple TV, and Roku. Take care. God bless.